So as you can see, I've now placed these wood chippings and sawdust for the background. There's some pieces on the face, but I shall remove those little by little later on. What I'm going to do now for the jacket, I'm going to use this net cloth. It's got an interesting pattern, and to do that I'm just going to lay that over the top. Probably do it that way. So what I'm doing here, I'm seeing the line work in the net. I'm going to place that in the same area. This is his neck here, so this is the jacket here. So what I shall do is then get one of my pencils. This is 7B, and I'm just going to see if that works. Does that work? Does it come out? No. No, that does not work. I think what I'll do is I'll just make a snip here. Use a felt. Do that. And do that. Okay. I'll just use these scissors to cut away the excess. The good thing with this net is that it has an interesting pattern that will hopefully lend itself well to printing and give an interesting texture to the suit jacket. It's quite difficult cutting this, so you have to pull it apart. That's it. Okay, so that will go on there like that. Hopefully these ridges will come out as well. So get a bit of glue. Just lay that on here. Okay. Okay, so that's I've done the jacket. Now I've got these pieces of pine here. What I was thinking that I might do is create a pattern. Either there or also in the background. Now I'll leave it like that for now. What I will do now though is I'll just coat all of this in PVA as before. And then what I'll do, we'll do a test print and we'll see how that looks and see if there's anything that we can add to it. So that's another good thing about Collagraph, is that through the entire process you can pull a print, have a look at it and see what else can be added to the plate, and so you can keep changing and evolving the image. Okay, so what I'm just going to do now is just lift up some of this. Needs a little bit of glue under there. Right, so I'm going to do one final coat. Bigger brush. So I've put in some PVA and then put in about 10% water to the PVA. I'm just going to cover the entire surface. do the face first so I don't get any bits on it. So this will seal it ready for applying ink. And I'll do the jacket. Now I'll do the background. So I'll do the background last, so if it picks up any of these little pieces of sawdust, I won't accidentally add them into the jacket or Lucian's face. So I'm liberally applying the glue. Being careful around where his ear is, making sure that the outline of the ear is there. Okay. So I'll leave that to dry now, and then we'll pull off a print. Now, alternatively, so what I might do later on after I've printed off with this one, because I might add in some other bits. I'll put in a print, and then I might get some like tissue paper. I might scrunch up tissue paper in the background, and then I might try some of the shredded paper. So I could try some of this. Just stick some of that on top like that. Well, I won't do that now. But after I've done all that, what I will do is, because you can coat the surface with some varnish. Now, some of the varnish I use is just the yacht varnish, which you can pick up from the pound shop. This is it's a gloss, and it is an oil-based, white spirit based. So I wouldn't suggest this if you're under the age of 18. If you're over the age of 18, then you can use varnish to coat the surface and make a more sturdy surface, or alternatively ask an adult, a parent or guardian, and they can do it for you, or you can use shellac, which does a similar job, but again I advise asking an adult that's supervising, or a parent or guardian, who can apply it to the surface on your behalf, therefore minimizing any accidents. So there we go. So we'll leave that to dry, and we'll come back and we'll ink it up, and we'll pull a print from it. Okay, so here is the Collagraph. It's now all dry. So I've done a couple of layers. I have made a subtle change. I moved this eye because it was in the wrong area. So I removed it from here and I moved it over to here. So it lines up a little bit better. It's not perfect, but doesn't have to be. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ink up, so with some printing ink, Now I'm using oil-based printing ink, which comes in a small tube. It's Cranfield Caligo Safe Wash Etching Inks. The good thing is these are oil-based, but they're also washable, so they wash off from your hand. Generally you can use water-based printing inks, which you can buy at any art store, and you could try with acrylic paints, but you'd have to be very, very quick because acrylic tends to dry quickly. So what I'm going to do with this one is I've mixed up a few colours. Now the good thing with creating prints is that I don't have to stick to colours you would generally think as skin colour, hair colour, jacket colour, background colour. So I've made a mixture, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rub on a few colours, some areas. I'm going to change it around a little bit. Start off with this brown colour. Use that as the base colour. So as you can see, I'm placing the ink over all the areas, including where his hair is. I'm going to change the colour slightly. I'm applying this ink just using a stiff brush. You can use a stencil brush or any hog's hair brush that's quite stiff. Okay, and then I'm going to get some of this yellow here. It's more like a golden yellow. I'm going to mix that into the red to make more of an orange. And I'm going to decide that the light, the light I'm going to have coming this side. So what I'm going to do is shift the tone of the colour. So half the face will be slightly different. As you can see, I'm not being overly careful. You don't need to worry too much about being absolutely perfect. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to add a little bit of white paint. This will allow me to change the tonal value. The good thing about applying inks with a brush like this is so you can add a painterly quality to the Collagraph rather than just sticking with one tone or one colour. I'm slightly warming up the colour here with the yellow. Now what I'm going to do now is just going to wipe that brush off a little bit. I'm going to mix up some of this blue, a little bit of green, so I have a greeny blue. So this is kind of a red, yellow, brown on there, and then I'm going to shift this side so it acts as a contrast. Again, I'm just going to follow, I'm thinking of the face and the contours of the face. So I'm going to try and keep to those general rules, but I'm not going to be overly correct with that. I want to make a dark brown. Just thinking of where shadow might be. Okay, and then I'm going to make some tertiary browns. So I'm going to get a little bit of red. Mix up a dark green, get some red, mix that in, so I can get a really dark tone. And I'm going to rub that in with the hair. Okay. I'm just going to wipe my brush. For the background, I'm just going to go with a yellow, which I shall do in a minute. We get another plate here. This will be in preparation for a general tone that I'll apply over the top, which you'll see in a second. So with this yellow, I'm now going to just coat the background. As you can see, it turns into a yellow-green. So you can see this image is becoming very extreme in its colours. And now for his jacket. You can see the texture of the netting is picking up colours. Get a little bit of red, just rub that over the top. So, okay. Now, as before, I've got this little bit of, I guess it's cheesecloth. It's a good bit of rag, picks up some of the colour. I'm just going to now just gently rub those colours together and sort of blend them in. Just use the cloth itself to create some marks of its own. Generally, this will just bring some of these colours together. Just turn it over. I'll just give it a good rub in there in the background. So, I'm just going to put that to one side. I'm going to roll a colour over the top. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a little bit of this yellow on there. So I've got a roller here. I'm just going to roll that out. And then I'm just going to very gently just roll that over the top. As you can see, where the raised areas are, they stand proud. background. This jacket. Some of the darker colour I'm just going to go back over where his hair is. And I'm just going to blend some of that in. So as you can see, there's so many different ways of approaching the inking of a plate. Now, I mean, I could spend many hours playing with this, and I probably will. But what I should do now is get a piece of paper, and then we'll take a pressing of that. So I've got another bigger roller here. There's my piece of paper. So I'll do a test print. I'll just place that carefully over the top. Press down with my hands. And then whilst holding it with one hand, I will just gently roll over the top. And move my hands, so that way I'm ensuring that the paper stays in its position and doesn't move. Otherwise I might end up with a double print. Side, then I'm going to get my trusty wooden spoon, and I'll gradually work in a circular motion. Try and pick up as much of the ink as possible. Can do is just, whilst holding it in place, I can just lift up a little piece, just have a look. Oh, and there's our print. Have a look, just have a look how that's coming out. Oh, that pattern's come out nice. Woohoo! Yeah. Let's have a look. And there we have our test print. Now we can see how everything's come out. We can see how the pattern from the sawdust and bits of wood. We have our cut-out stencil to create the relief. We have some of the ink from up between coming through. Now you can play with that and add, you can see how you can change the different tones. See, it moves more of a yellow ochre to a green and a brown. And we can see the pattern from the netting. Look at that. So there is our collagraph of a portrait of Lucian Freud taken from one of his paintings. Now the important thing to remember is when you're printing is to sign it. So for this is an artist proof, so put A/P and the name, in this case Lucian, and then I sign it and put the year date. There we go, one complete collagraph portrait of Lucian Freud. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you enjoy exploring collagraph and its techniques and its methods. And you can truly see the many different approaches you can add to this technique. So I thank you for watching this video. Do subscribe. I share videos fairly regularly as I try out techniques in printmaking and painting and drawing. You can click the notifications bell so you'll be notified when a new video has been uploaded, and I'll see you in the next video. So I wish you a good evening and have a good day.